Way back last year.
Way back.
Well, the 1 year is a long period. Otherwise, a week, they forget it a week, right? He used to work for Beyond Security. Now he works for Proactive. There's a company called Proactive. What it does is it's actually a reseller of a lot of other products, mostly in cyberspace. For some reason, he's missing Cylance. We'll talk to him. so Rusty is very kind enough to help me out, bring this, I was looking for microsegmentation. In fact, that's one of the things I did not know. It's a good time to actually, I met this company in the data connectors event. That's how I know what the products are out there, right? My company is not into that. They're not going to use every latest product. By the way, Cylance is in the house. I was told that 3 months ago we got it. So Rusty, please take over, sir. You're going to introduce Unisys. Please thank.
Thank you very much. I have nothing but admiration for everyone in this room to give up 2 months of Sundays and to spend your Sundays like this. And to be in the security business. The bad guys they have too much money, they're too smart, and there are too many of them. And none of that is ever going to change without something biblical and cataclysmic, perhaps. But we hope that doesn't happen. What you're doing is so incredibly important. I'm a relative newcomer to security. I've been in security for 3 or 4 years now. And as you can see from the snow on my mountain, I must have done something else for another 20 or 30 years. But it's always been, except my middle-aged crazy golf shop. My middle-aged crazy, my wife would not let me have a convertible and a blonde, so I had a golf shop. Took a break from the software world for a few years, and then got tired of retail and went back into software. So most of my career has revolved around software.
So you sold to all the guys who had the blondes in the sports?
Exactly. And their blondes. Yeah, very, very good. Sold them little carriers for the backs of their little sports cars so they could take their clubs anywhere they wanted to. Beyond security, well, there's me. I came all the way from Weatherford this morning with lunch, so you have to listen to me. I'm buying your lunch. I have bought your lunch. All the way from Weatherford, a home office out there. Proactive Network Management Corporation is 27 years old, and the owner and founder is a wonderful gentleman who just had his 75th birthday. Who goes all the way back to Unisys when they were associated with Sperry and all of the amazing forefathers of our industry. So John Dunn is his name, and he's just a jewel. I love him. They are headquartered out of Salt Lake City, a national reach, and we basically I'm your one, I would love to be your one phone call guy for just about anything involving networking, security, even system evaluation that we do through a variety of our partners. And then when it comes down to just procurement, I'm one of those rare guys that likes to shop. In fact, I'm shopping for a big switch project for a fellow at the moment. He said, Rusty, I need PoE switches, they need to be managed. Talk to me in a week and let me know what you found. So fine, I start going through our partners that develop switches, and I can perform that sort of service for you. It doesn't cost you anything actually, because we get paid by our partners. Would you hit the next button please, Brad? And speaking of our partners, this is tip of the iceberg, and what you see on our webpage is also tip of the iceberg. But you'll recognize a lot of names. For those of you that are terribly interested in Darktrace, they are one of our very good and up-and-coming partners. So I'll be happy to help you there with Dark Trace. And if, for those of you who may be involved in also the purchasing part, the procurement part of your roles, America is starting to adapt more and more the European business model of a lot of these folks won't sell direct. They may sell direct to somebody like American Airlines or Walmart, I don't know. But for folks that aren't American Airlines and Walmart, you can call someone like Fortinet and say, hey, I need this and this and this. Well, here's a list of our partners. Which one would you like to go through? That has been the way of it in Europe. You can't buy anything direct in most of Europe these days. And America seems to be taking on that business model as well, more and more. So it becomes more and more important for you to align yourselves with someone like Proactive, who has connections, histories with, again, all the folks you see on this slide, plus many, 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 many more. The one in red is our subject today, Good Partners Forever with Unisys. And the subject today is microsegmentation. And this is Brad Allstat, and he's going to punch my final button. Brad Allstat is local. In fact, he didn't have to drive near as far as I did. You see, Brad is in Frisco. He's the security sales exec for Unisys Stealth product. And on the phone, and by the way, speaking of the phone, we have it cranked up as loud as it'll go, but please feel free to move forward if you have trouble hearing Jack Coons. I'm going to let Brad introduce himself further, and Jack, and take it away, Brad.
All right, thank you. Not sure why it's not displaying what I've got.
Something content?
On your screen.
Yeah,
Oh.
sorry about that. Yeah, well, trying to figure that out. I'm going to duplicate it this way.
You have been hacked.
Of course I've been hacked. No,
By us.
I believe that Unisys has the PCs loaded down just about as much as they can be. In fact, we're implementing Cylance as we speak. Good partner of ours. I was asked some questions over here. What have I done for security? I'm an engineer at heart. I graduated an engineering degree, worked at General Dynamics back in the 80s. Went into security sales, been here for 21 years, including 13 years at RSA, where I managed the Walmart account, American Airlines account, know Dan Glass pretty well. Very well, know Kerry Hilker pretty well. So, I've been on the vendor side and came to Unisys because of the opportunity that we have here. So, anyway, this is Jack Coons. I'm going to spend a little bit of time up front, hopefully just a couple minutes, explaining where Unisys, what Unisys is doing today, especially in regards to security, because I got that comment too. Unisys still in business? Yes, we are, alive and well and kicking, redefining ourselves as we speak. So here's Jack. You can read his biography. Military. We've got a lot of military people in here that work with cyber warfare. Department of Defense, what have you. We've had Jack speaking. He works in our stealth department, and had Jack speaking at a lot of events. Has a lot of experience with hacking and knowing what to do with those things, but also, most importantly, about protection and incident response when it comes to things like that. So, Jack, are you driving? First of all, Jack, can you hear?
That's a good question you can't answer no to.
Oh,
Jack?
muted.
Oh, you're muted, Jack. Still muted. Let's see if I can. I don't think I have him muted. I'm sorry. Jack? Jack?
Are you in there?
Yeah, I see him online here. Let me,
There's a brown flashing icon at the bottom of the taskbar.
Jack? It's muted. Speaker. I was just talking to him. Jack? Might have to switch to,
You might want to just try dialing it again.
um,
I wonder what that tone means.
Yeah.
You might be trying to dial.
well, let me turn on the audio here. I do have that.
Did you call him from here originally?
We dialed in here, I'm connected here. Okay, looks like he's rejoining. Jack? Jack? You say something? Please.
Speak to me.
He's typing.
He can hear you.
Anybody?
Looks like our speaker is not working. Why don't you do a conference call?
Let me,
Wanted to.
Jack? Jack, I can hear you. I heard you shuffling around.
Yep, you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. I don't know why this isn't working.
It is now. We just heard it all.
Yeah, it came from here.
Oh, I
Sorry.
see.
Yeah, I can hear you guys perfectly.
Can you hear that?
Yes. Yeah, we can.
All right. Okay, Jack. Just go ahead and flip to the first slide, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Okay. So Unisys presented a unique opportunity for me. It was Stealth is our flagship product, which we'll be talking about today. What's unique about Unisys is that we are a services company, so we built managed services around all of our solutions, especially in security. What this allows us to do is basically address what I've seen out there today. It's really a couple things. One is this age-old, sayings or whatever, the adages that we have in security, and that's there is no perimeter, duh. And people are already inside your network doing bad things. So what microsegmentation allows us to do is try to lessen that impact, and that's what Jack's going to talk about today. Our managed security services, to me, CISOs want a couple things. They want visibility and resolution. The CIO comes in their office, they want to be able to tell them what's going on, what's wrong. And our managed security services, with the help of Stealth, provide a very unique opportunity for us in the marketplace. In fact, with our advanced analytics, which we can talk about offline, what we can do is work with Stealth to dynamically segment a bad actor. And Jack might possibly address that, but he's not going to talk about product today. So we can take some of that offline. What Jack's going to focus on is best practices, a little bit of background on how this came about. Jack? Okay, so.
All right, so can you guys hear me better now?
Yep, can hear.
Yep, great. All right, so Brad, I just flipped the slide for you. I think we got it fixed now.
Okay, all right. I thought you were taking over here. So the industry recognition, this is a typical, throw up here and brag. But our Stealth solution received some early recognition. It was basically born out of the NSA. It's the only product certified to protect top secret information. So Unisys does a big business side federal group. We've commercialized this and offered it about 3 years ago to the commercial environment. Nelson Hall talks a little bit about our SIM offering, our monitoring of the network. We add a lot of intelligence on the back end, which is why you see uncapped there, but we've also added our predictive analytics that work with airports, the Department of Defense, DHS in particular, monitor border traffic. Forrester talks about the mix of the two, and again, we can go over this at some point. By the way, Jack has a longer bio I'd be happy to send out for anyone that's interested. It's about a page long. So without further ado, Jack? You're up.
Great, thanks, Brad. All right, folks, yeah, so I got tired of messing around, so I just literally went through the network and took over, so hopefully I didn't spook Brad too much, but I trust you can all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Great, and I take it you're seeing the 0 Day 0 Trust slide up on the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, so by way of introduction, first off, thanks to Brad, and thanks to the group there on the ground for letting me kind of remotely dial in here and do this. So yesterday I was giving a conference at a Security B-Sides gig. So as you guys know, it's kind of like the TEDx Black Hat, you know. So you've got Black Hat, and then you've got the B-Sides all over the place in the little regional focuses. Well, here in Augusta, Georgia, which is kind of where I'm located right now, they have a relatively robust Security B-Sides conference. So we had about 900 people here yesterday. So very well received on the southeast of the United States, you know, all things considered, given, you know, Irma and all the tropical storms that were blowing through here. But then again, you guys are down in Dallas, so I'm not going to talk to you about storms, so I'm not going to get any sympathy there. So the point of this conversation, as Brad said, is I don't want to talk too much, or actually I don't want to talk at all about the product itself. What I want to talk to you about is kind of a research area that I'm in, and also given the lens of, you know, where you guys are coming from, right? So my understanding is that you guys are coming off the tail end of a certified ethical hacker course. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right, so one of the areas that I look at in Unisys is the world of microsegmentation, and then also coupled with the world of critical infrastructure protection. And I'm going to go into that in a little bit here, but before we go any further, I want to kind of ask Brad. So on our, you know, I know we've had a couple of issues here with you know, the logistics, but time-wise, how are we on time? What am I looking at?
Thanks.
I think
Time-wise,
let's get, you know,
We're flexible.
yeah, more flexible.
okay, we'll just, you know, take your 45 minutes and we'll check back in and, you know, continue from there.
Okay, great. Yeah, 45 minutes is plenty of time. All right, so let's go ahead and jump through the slides here. All right, so this is why we're here, right? So this is pretty much what I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to park there for a minute to kind of let you guys know that for the sake of time, I'm not going to deep dive any one particular slide. We have 45 minutes to cover some very, very technical things here that are very interesting to me from a research perspective and very relevant from a practical application of, well, CEH knowledge perspective. But I do offer the slides. They're not proprietary. They don't spook anything on our side from the legal side. So if you guys want, just hit up Brad for my contact information. In fact, if I go back here, if you didn't see it, it's right there on the bottom. It's Jack Coons is my name. But Brad will get you in touch with me, and I will push you the slides. You can have to do what you see fit, and then we can have a conversation offline. But the bottom line is, when I talk about microsegmentation, I'm going to go ahead and define the terms, and I'm going to define what I mean by critical infrastructure and some of these other things. But really, the genesis for this conversation we're going to have today was built about a year ago. I joined Unisys coming off of 25 years in the military. I worked within the intelligence and special operations umbrella. My role in that was exploitation of networks, adversarial networks. So what do I mean by that? My job on behalf of the U.S. government was to seek out, find, identify, isolate, and then try and penetrate adversarial networks, either through remote access or what we call KNO operations, close access network operations. So the best analogy I can give you is sometimes you call Comcast or Verizon, you tell them, hey, I'm having a problem with my computer, my TV, or the network. They do everything they can to help you over the telephone. But sometimes they just simply say, hey, Mr. Coons, we're going to have to send a technician to your house, right? So that was my role. It was very exciting. And as you can imagine from reading in the Washington Post, a lot of that stuff is out there, you know, in the wild, as it were. But it kind of informs what I do for Unisys now. So I've been with the company about a year. And my role now is as a cybersecurity evangelist, if you will, global security solutions SME, if you will. But my title, formal title, is director for stealth go-to-market. So within that portfolio, I look at our customers and our clients, and I help them articulate issues that they may be having or aren't aware that they have, and then help engineer with our engineers some solutions and apply those solutions. So with the slide you're looking at right now, one of the areas I'm very interested in is this world of critical infrastructure, OT, ICS, SCADA, what have you. It's just when you couple it with the transition from IP version 4 to IP version 6, everything's going to have an IP address, this world of IoT, the proliferation of mobile, et cetera, et cetera. Just the attack surface area is just becoming huge and unmanageable, right? And in the world of the commercial side, it's all about applying finite resources to an ever-expanding attack surface, right? That's a very hard problem set. So that's kind of what I do. And like I said, last year, about a year ago, I was at B-Sides, and I began a conversation about microsegmentation, the role of microsegmentation, and how it can help inform that conversation that I just laid out for you. What you guys are going to hear today is basically what's been learned and built on over the past year. All right, so I'm going to pause there for any questions before we start really running with the slides. So I'm going to pause and rely on Brad to tell me if anybody has any questions before we push on. Over.
Anything particular that he mentioned that we want to make sure we dig maybe a little deeper on? We'll have some time at the end for questions also. Okay, go ahead, Jack.
Great. All right. All right, so this is me. This is me looking at you guys. I'm assuming that the folks in that, and I can't see you, right, but I'm going to assume that the folks there, and again, no joke, this is kind of funny because, I just left this world where I couldn't physically see the adversary on the other end, so it's kind of like I'm right back into my old thing where I'm sitting here in my house, in a room full of people and I can't see them, but I'm going to try and influence them. So this is what I think you guys are, right? So I'm taking this right from your website. Right? This is what you're doing, and so I've tried to inform my slide deck to kind of speak to this. This is how you're looking at the problem set. This is how you're looking at the world. Okay? What do I want you to take away from this brief? Right? This is what it is. And normally when I give this talk, I ask people to kind of correlate the right side of that slide with the left side. Right? So really, for the sake of time, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to cheat here and tell you what it is. What you're looking on the right side, for those who don't know, J.R.R. Tolkien, that's Gandalf, that's Saruman, he's looking at what's called a Palantir. It's actually pronounced incorrectly. The company is called Palantir, DoD uses their product, it's called Palantir, but Tolkien meant it to be pronounced the French way, it's Palantir. But it's an all-seeing eye that allows you, wherever you are, to see a similar orb in another region or zone of the world, right? On the left-hand side, there's a bunch of stuff up there, but the key takeaway is everything begins with the ability to have visualization and see your network. If you can't see your network, you don't know your network, you can't control your network, you can't apply resources to your network, and you can't respond to threats, right? So the two kind of go hand in hand, right? Being able to see your network, that's the beginning of the conversation. And then I have a little catchphrase that I like to say, see, secure, segment, and then survive. Or we have some stickers, I don't know if Brad has, but we have some stickers that we now push out. It's called segment or suffer. But we're going to talk here in a minute about why that's important, so let's push on. So everybody knows who that is. That's Sun Tzu, right? What's old is new, and what's new is old. The bottom line is you see yourself, you win 50% of the battles. You see the enemy, you understand 50%, you win 50% of the battles. The real trick, the graduate level calculus here, is being able to see both yourself and the enemy. Right? That's a challenge that we have in the community right now. We have no shortage of people who do threat intelligence, do threat hunting, and they understand the enemy better than, well, sometimes the enemy himself. And we have no shortage of people that have solutions to help you understand your network, right? But for me, the real problem is marrying the two of those things up together so that you have it in real time, right? So we're going to talk a little bit more about why that's important. I usually like to park here and kind of ask folks, can anybody tell me what that screenshot is from and who that is and why that's important? Anyone? And Brad, tell me if any hand is going up.
Come on, guys. No hand.
Okay, so if you haven't already seen it, I highly suggest you see the movie Sneakers with, that right there, that's Mother, the guy playing the role of Mother. He's basically blind, but he has a very highly attuned sense of hearing that allows him when Dan Aykroyd is down there trying to play with the PBX switches and stuff on the phone system. He's able to tell which sound is which and where to apply the alligator clip so that they can basically breach into the network, right? So that's from the movie Sneakers. Very applicable to the world of critical infrastructure protection, and then it leads right into this. That's the movie. But what's funny is that's the same guy, and now this is the blind guy driving the car. And if you haven't seen the movie, it's hilarious because you have a blind guy basically driving the getaway van after they just went down into, let's go to the next slide, they went down into the manhole covers to kind of get into the network. So what I'm trying to tell you, what I'm trying to convey with all of this is that when people think about certified ethical hackers, and they think about network defense, typically they're thinking about a guy or girl sitting on a computer box, on a console, on keyboards, getting in. And everything I've just shown you in the past 3 slides, there's nobody on the keyboard, right? This world is interconnected in ways and attack vectors that go well beyond the actual keyboard, right? You guys know that. You've studied it for the past week, plus in your previous jobs, as I heard before we lost contact. A lot of you do it day to day in your day jobs. But the point is, the attack surface, getting back to this notion of an attack surface, the way the network is now presented to the environment goes well beyond what we normally think of when we think of perimeters, right? In fact, I always challenge people by asking them, define for me what your perimeter is. Where does it begin? Where does it end? That
Jack?
usually starts a very interesting conversation. So let's go to the next slide.
Jack,
Yeah, go ahead.
you have a question.
Yeah, where do you get the training that teaches you how to climb up the outside of buildings in Dubai?
Yeah.
So I'm hearing laughing, Brad, but I missed part of it. What do you say, Brad?
If you could just come a little closer.
So where do you get the training that teaches you how to climb the outside of buildings in Dubai?
Yeah. So I will tell you, in my career, I did not start off as a keyboard guy. So in all seriousness, I started out as an infantry guy, and then I became a sniper, went through sniper training. And then typically what happens is the community that I came from, after about 6 years, I was approached because they typically look for people that have both a tactical skill set and a technical skill set. So I was already jumping out of planes, climbing things, doing very tactical, kinetic things on the ground before I was approached by the community to come in because I had I was a closet geek. I had a technological bent and interest to me. And so it's the marriage of both the tactical and the technical. And I'll be honest with you, that wasn't really appreciated within the U.S. government after 9/11. And at the end of the day, it's just it's a skill set that is perishable and has to be trained on, just like the ones you guys learned with Certified Ethical Hacker. But yes, at the end of the day, I am extremely afraid of heights, but I do jump out of planes and I do climb things like a spider monkey. So back to this and back to climbing. Can anybody tell me where that screenshot is from? So any hands up, Brad?
No hands.
Okay. So if you haven't seen the movie, and a lot of you probably have, this is another critical infrastructure protection movie. This is Live Free or Die Hard with Bruce Willis. So the role of Warlock, the master hacker played by Kevin Smith, that's a screen grab of his screen in the movie Live Free or Die Hard. If you recall in the movie, and I don't want to give too much away, but there's a lot of touch points into the hacker community as well as critical infrastructure protection and the Department of Defense and commercial sector. Very interesting. I don't want to give anything away if you haven't seen it, but very interesting in the way they play on that theme. What's interesting, though, about this is that movie was actually generated based on a short story by an author for Wired magazine called Let Slip the Dogs of War. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest it came out about the mid to late 90s, this article in Wired magazine, where the author did some research on some exercises that the Joint Chiefs of Staff were doing to examine the role of U.S. response to threat actors. And normally they were responding to kinetic actors. But in this one particular war game exercise, they decided to go against an adversary who used network infrastructure as an attack vector to control and then deliver effects. The results of that real-world war game led to this article in Wired magazine called Let's Slip the Dogs of War, and then that then turned into a major blockbuster movie with Bruce Willis. Most people don't understand that. They don't know that because it's not readily available on the open source network, but Google it, read it. It's a very interesting article, and then go watch the movie. But the role of Thomas Gabriel, a lot of those people that play in that movie and a lot of the themes in there are based on true real-world examples. So Let's go ahead and start by bounding the taxonomy. Let's bound our terms. What does Jack mean when he talks to you about microsegmentation? What does Jack mean by critical infrastructure? When I talk microsegmentation, I'm not talking about collision domains. I'm not talking about broadcasting and preventing data packets from bumping into each other in a collision domain. I'm talking about microsegmentation in almost very layman terms, right? I want to put space between me and you such that I am free to operate without impacting you, but more importantly, what I call the tyranny of the apes does not occur. And that means there's no cross-propagation, escalation, pollination, degradation if something happens to me, right? I want to make sure that everything is contained in my world and it doesn't impact you. And that'll become very important as we talk here further in the slide deck. But then, Jack, I actually mix in a few more things to my definition of microsegmentation. And the reason I do that, folks, is if you go out right now, the community writ large does not have let's just say, an agreed upon definition of